Dear Princess Sunbutt, Letter 86.
Dear Princess Celestia, Stupid is alive. The elements did not disintegrate him, as I initially thought, and they instead seem to have sent him forward in time. And that's not all. He seems to have gained the ability to digest actual food. A changeling eating normal food. He is also unable to transform, but he says he's been like that since he hatched, so it seems the elements are unrelated in that aspect. Stupid has been very cooperative thus far, though I've still taken measures to ensure that he doesn't try anything funny. Anon suggested running a rope through his leg holes since he can't transform, so we're doing that for now. This is also new and bizarre, but the implications could permanently alter equestrian society as we know it. If we can somehow isolate the appetite modification from the temporal displacement, we might be able to use the elements to forcibly remove the changeling's primary motivator for conflict. There's a high chance that they won't be willing at first, though I'm positive that they'll thank us in the long run. Even if they don't, it's for the greater good. But I'm getting ahead of myself. We can discuss this in detail later. For now, I'm requesting a military escort for myself and Stupid from Ponyville to the Mage's Tower. I will not let him escape, Princess. There is so much we can learn from him. Your faithful student, Twilight Sparkle. P.S. Stupid wishes to write to you, so expect a letter from him shortly after this one.
From Her Royal Highness Celestia, RE Letter 86.
To my most faithful student, Twilight Sparkle. It's wonderful to hear that the elements of Harmony's proposed lethality turned out to be something of a red herring. And it makes me feel worlds better about having to use them on my sister. Twice. It's also wonderful to hear that you've volunteered to maintain the well-being of a potential new equestrian citizen, Twilight. Your changeling guest will of course be escorted with a detachment of crown agents, but please remember that talk we had about sapient beings. If he or she is well behaved, does not attempt escape, and causes no intentional harm, a degree of trust and comfort should be extended. That is, you should probably not worry about making someone watch over him or her in the bathroom, sleeping on an actual bed, etc. Of course, we will be testing him for side effects, reproducibility, and otherwise in an ethical manner. And your escort should be only slightly delayed from this letter. I look forward to a letter from our guest. By the by, is Anon well? This missive lacks his usual diction. Your loving mentor, Princess Celestia. To SD, AL, and R. Changeling activity noted. Twilight contacted me regarding our guest, and if all is on the level, so much the better. Please shadow Twilight and the changeling known as Stupid, with due discretion and attempt to prevent harm. To both parties, should the latter be innocent, or at least as innocent as an unknown changeling can be presumed to be. I consider it important that their life be maintained if nothing else. From the desk of Her Royal Highness Celestia. Anon, it says something that I can become suspicious when my student writes me directly. Is something wrong? Celestia.
Letter 86.1.
To the Equestrian Princess Celestia. I am the changeling now known as Stupid. I write to you in order to express my gratitude. My previous existence was one of endless struggle. I was cast out from the hive due to my defective nature. A changeling unable to change cannot effectively harvest love, so I was seen as a burden upon the rest of my family. Outside of the hive, I lived in a constant state of hunger and fear. This is no longer true, for I am now able to gain nourishment from food. For the first time in my life, I do not crave love. The experience is indescribable. I have been given an opportunity to live life anew. I swear to you I will not waste it. Your elements of harmony have freed me of my curse. I have finally changed, and for that, I am forever grateful. Stupid.
From Princess Celestia to Stupid, 86.1.
Dear changeling known as Stupid. First and above all, I apologize on behalf of Anon who gave you your current name, since he probably won't. If you would like to select a name more fitting for yourself, I highly encourage it, as I would hate for you to be demanded simply by introducing yourself, or being addressed. If you would like a name given to you, just let me know. If you already have one, I, of course, suggest you use it, unless you would prefer not to. Now, on to the actual content of your letter. A long time ago, Equestria was founded by ponies who were starving, whose every day was a struggle. who lacked of trust in what was seen as their base natures drove them against one another. It was founded when ponies put aside what made them different as things that should keep them apart, and instead celebrated them for what made them special. Whether we have feathers, or horns, or even fangs, Equestria is, and has always been, about coming together, new chances, and above all, hope. As one of Equestria's princesses, I welcome you. If this is truly what you wish, I welcome you to make friends, to find love not just to eat, but to share and experience. I welcome you to find what truly makes you special, what makes you, you, and find the light inside of you, and make it shine. I welcome any pony, changeling, or other being that is willing to try for these things, to live in harmony, and work together to make a life worth living. With your consent, I would like to study the element's effects on you with the aid of the researchers of the Crown, so that others may benefit if they so desire. I wish you well, Princess Celestia. To my most faithful student, Twilight Sparkle, I have received the missive from our changeling guest, and would like to amend my previous letter thusly. Twilight, you are not allowed to run experiments on him without informed consent. You are not allowed to act in a manner which is threatening to his well-being, physical or psychological, except to subdue if an escape is attempted. And you are also not allowed to permit others to break any of these rules for you, because I have not forbidden them for doing so. I was just thanked for such luxuries as not starving and the chance to live at peace, Twilight. One of our core tenets is generosity, and that means when we have food, we share it. When we are warm and someone else is cold, we let them warm themselves by our fire. When someone is hurting, we help. Make me proud, Twilight. Princess Celestia.
Letter 86.2.
Hey, Celestia. Okay, so we're gonna hold off on the trip to the Major Tower for a bit. Stupid is in the hospital right now because he tried eating raw cashews. What a dumbass. Twi is practically foaming at the mouth to start her research, so I'm having Trixie help her busy for now. Once Stupid is feeling okay, we'll head out. Doc said it shouldn't take more than like a day or two. Stupid says he's fine with being a lab rat for the elements of BGL, so there's no problem there. Love Anon. P.S. I did my best to talk him into a new name, but the little guy just loves being called Stupid. Oh well. At least I tried.
From Her Royal Highness Celestia, RE Letter 86.2.
Dear Anon, I'm glad to hear that you're well and that my student is showing remarkable restraints, all things considered. I'm also pleased that both the hospital is willing to treat Stupid and are able to do so. If you wish, you may accompany Stupid to the tower as well, as you are likely the closest thing he, or she... Did we ever establish Stupid was male? Anyway, you are the closest thing that he or she has to a friend right now. Possibly ever. Try to take care of him or her. Alright, Anon? Your friend, Celestia. To Ponyville General. I apologize for the general nature of the address, but I'm uncertain who this would end up directed to. I would like for the changeling known as Stupid to have a few non-invasive tests done to determine a healthy diet, and whether or not it differs significantly from pony tendencies. It occurs to me that there may have been assumptions involved about what precisely the elements of harmony would have considered appropriate dietary needs for a changeling's biology. I would also appreciate it if Mr. Anon is allowed to visit this changeling, so long as guard ponies are present. Penned by Her Royal Highness Celestia. Dear Stupid, I am sorry to hear about your misfortune with the raw cashews. Those usually must be cooked to break down certain dangerous substances within. I've asked Ponyville General to provide a few basic tests, non-invasive mind you, to determine what you may safely eat and if it differs from a pony of your approximate age and mass. As for your name, Anon was kind enough to pass on your preference for your name, and while I will not argue if that is truly what you wish, may I make a suggestion you add the second name, Luck? After all, you were born apparently unable to change, and left the hive. You met the single member of a species in the middle of the Everfree Forest, a location rated within the top 10 most inhospitable areas on the planet, and some of the other contenders are volcanic or actively prowled by Wendigos who decide to take you home. You were then accosted with the elements of harmony, which apparently decided that you just needed a chance, You then nearly die due to eating something dangerous, and your life seems to be an example of extremes of luck, both good and bad. I wish you well, Princess Celestia.
Letter 86.3.
Hey Tia, Stupid took your suggestion and changed his name. He's now officially Stu Luck Pit. We just call him Stu. He says he's a drone, which I assume is about as much of a dude as a changeling can be. I might see if he's up for Bro Day, trademark, sometime soon, depending on what Dash says. Spike is already alright with it. Dwight's still mad she can't be a bro. So, after a lunar ass-load of tests, the hospital discovered Stu has slightly less than infinity allergies. I blame you for indirectly cursing him with a nerdy name. He was way cooler and less allergic with the name I gave him. So his diet is basically gonna have no dairy, no cane sugar, no grains, including flour, no Red 40, no fun, and no kiwis for some reason. Pinky was devastated when she found out. She put together a whole welcome to Ponyville / congrats on successful time travel / congrats on eating your first food / welcome back to the hospital party. But Stu couldn't eat anything she made. She promised to throw a new party with edible food when we get back from the Tower of Neckbeard. I told her to invite you and Luna to this one because Stu wants to meet you in person, but he's too scared to ask. Again, I blame you for making him weak with a nerdy name. The train ride has been uneventful so far, but Stu is being entertaining in his own way. He keeps running back and forth from the food cart to show me all the things he can eat, and most of it is the same 3 fruits cut into different shapes, but he either can't tell or doesn't care. Spike is following him around just in case he tries to eat something fun. Twilight took enough sleeping pills to kill a lesser being, so she's behaving. For now. And the rest of the elements are also asleep, except for Rarity, who is currently reading through a stack of smut books she brought and refuses to share. Well, so much for generosity. Anyway, we'll let you know how the experiments go when we're done. Love, Anon. Oh, right. 1 lunar ass load is the number of squeeze cheese cans Luna goes through in a month.
From Tia, RE letter 86.3.
Dear Anon, I would be happy to attend such a function, and when I showed Luna, she agreed. She was further amused and gained a most interesting look to her face at your description of Stu's allergy tests. Luckily, we may be able to help treat some of those allergies at least, but overall, it's good that they caught it sooner than later. As for his name, well, Luck being his middle name does seem very apt, though I had more intended something along the lines of Stupid Luck, much in the way of Mr. Filthy Rich. Still, as long as he is happy, and on the note of being happy, it's very sweet that he's so excited and wants to share that with you. You must have made a very good impression. In his eyes, you've probably delivered him hope and happiness for the first time in a very long time. I know you didn't do that with this in mind, but nevertheless, thank you, Anon. Thank you for caring for another life and helping hope spring up where none was before. Your friend, Tia.
Letter 86.4.
Hey Celestia. Okay, I got some good news. Also some not good news, and yeah, some bad news. Here's the good news though. Twilight figured out a way to recreate the effects of the big gay laser without the involuntary time travel. Not good news. We're banned from the Mage's Tower for life. Bad news. Your mages suck. Those assholes spent half the time sucking each other off about how smart they were, while Twiggy and the shits did their jobs for them. To start off, Stupid almost died 3 times in the first 2 days. The first time was partially my fault for not supervising him, and partially his own fault for not thinking before shoving things into his mouth, but the other 2 times were completely the mage's fault. Milady's most elite magical researchers didn't tell their coworkers that a changeling would be in the building. After the first rando freaked out and attacked, most people would have issued some sort of announcement about Stupid not being a threat, right? Nope, not these guys. They're too smart for that. Second attack happens, and guess what? Still no announcement. They kept on magically reinforcing their chastity belts, barely acknowledging that they almost got Stupid killed twice. Twilight had to take matters into her own hooves and go from floor to floor handing out memos. She loved that part, even if she denies it. And no, the irony of Twilight, fuck the living sparkle trying to avoid unnecessary death, is not lost on me. 3 days rolls around and still no progress was being made. They hadn't even looked at the elements even once yet. Turns out, they had been drafting their scientific papers the whole time instead of doing any actual science. Twilight locked them in the purple dimension when she found out, and then gathered some interns to start the real work. I'm sure you know the phrase, taking charge, so I want you to imagine exactly what that looks like. Twilight didn't do that. She grabbed Charge by the balls and started beating the ever-loving shit out of it. If Charge was a person with 2 kids, those kids would have been broken and bleeding from the proxy damage their DNA took, one paralyzed for life and the other in a coma. I've never seen her get serious about something that didn't directly involve death. But now I feel privileged to have witnessed it firsthand. One of the interns actually passed out from the stress. So did Fluttershy, but she once passed out from sneezing too hard, so that was expected. Spike was the only one who kept chugging along like everything was normal, which made him at least twice as helpful as everyone else combined. By the 4th day, she had succeeded in recreating the effects the elements had on Stupid. To use scientific terms, she did a magic on some doodads and made a thingamajig that works the same way. By morning of the 5th day, which would be today, she figured out the time travel part and removed it. So now, we have a totally not a gun that shoots magical fixie bullets. We're gonna test it on one of the changeling prisoners you don't officially have when we get back. Stu made everyone promise to only use it if the other bug says it's okay, but I'm not sure I can hold Twilight to that. She would have written to you herself, but she's currently catching up on all the sleep that she missed. I think she was up for almost 3 days straight. Oh, good old Twigs. Pretty much everyone is exhausted right now. Apple and Fluttershy are worried about their apples and animals, Rarity's worried about Sweetie Belle, Pinky is worried about the party she has to put together for Stu, and Stu is worried about his siblings not wanting to change. Dash is worried about not being fast enough, and I'm worried about not having something to worry about. Anyway, I'll see you in a few hours. Love, Anon. P.S. I forgot his new name is Stu while I was writing. P.P.S. I just realized we forgot to let the mages out. I don't know if they can breathe in there.
From Her Royal Highness Celestia, RE Letter 86.4.
To my most faithful student, Twilight Sparkle. I knew you could do it, my little Twilight. I'm a little concerned with the amount of sleep you likely got and some of your methods, but I am proud of you. Your loving mentor, Princess Celestia. P.S. Thank you for getting the Mage Tower in order. I had not realized that it degenerated so severely over the past few generations. Oh. Dear Anon, my student continues to amaze me both for better and worse. I'll deal with the scientists myself. Don't tell my student. But it is possible to combine a temporal elements to interdimensional thaumaturgy such that I'll be able to pluck them out a few seconds after they get there, relatively speaking. And then they'll actually have something to worry about. Your friend, Celestia. Dear Luna and Cadence, sister, niece, I'm beginning to worry about our nation as a whole. Twilight is showing improvement, at least, and there are a great many competent and effective ponies that are also empathetic. But strangely, I keep finding ponies who possess, at best, 2 of those traits in positions of importance. I cannot help but wonder if we suffer from being only 2 of these 3, competent, effective, and empathetic, at any given time. Still, I ask your help to aid me in going through the high positions of Canterlot at least, and determine which ponies should be seeking employment elsewhere. I'm even starting to wonder if we need to bite the bit and do something about the nobility, too. Love, Celestia. P.S. No matter how cathartic it would be, we are not going to execute or brutally maim any of the ponies we fire. P.P.S. Unless they are intentionally evil. Note to self. Have the water supplies checked for tampering. Express my severe disappointment with the royally commissioned magic researchers. Check education standards within Canterlot. What was the last review? 380 years? Enchant Day Planner to change the dates of recurring tasks. Begin research into possible repercussions of transitioning Equestria into a constitutional diarchy. And reintroduce public shaming as a punishment.
From Princess Celestia to Pinkamena Diane Pie.
Dear Pinkie Pie, my sister, niece, and I will be firing what I suspect will be a great many ponies in the near future. We are requesting temporary lease of an industrial strength party cannon from which they may be fired. Confetti bursts are negotiable, but the ponies in question should survive the landing. I don't pretend to know how you will accomplish this, but I have the utmost faith in you. Your friend, Princess Celestia. P.S. If you feel that neither I nor Princess Luna should be entrusted with an industrial-strength party cannon, we will need to charter your services as well.
Letter 86.5.
Dear Princess Salami, the knotgun of fixiness works way better than expected. Bug number 1, an unnamed Juan, agreed to be our test subject if he was allowed to go free. The magical fixie bullet phased into his chest and made him glow for a few seconds. I then offered him an apple, in which he ate without throwing up. It worked. Juan is now a very happy boy. He's requested permission to tell us how about the fun of being a winner, so you will soon receive a release form pending approval from yourself and Luna. In my personal opinion, the danger of freeing a single changeling is negligible when you consider the good that would come from pacifying even a small portion of an aggressive hive. I also need an excuse to shoot more changelings, so it's a win-win in my book. Bug number 2 was a massive dickwad that didn't want to eat cool foods like pizza and ice cream. He kept trying to bite me through the bars, so I forgot my promise to Stu and fired at him. It seems the magical fixie bullet stopped being magical and fixie if the target isn't willing, so I just fired a normal non-fixie bullet. We cleaned up the cell, don't worry. I still consider this a win for science. Stu was talking to Juan at the time, so he didn't see. I told him the other bug was transferred to another facility a few days ago. He believed me because he's stupid. I also ran a few basic tests on Juan, and it seems he has none of Stu's allergies. That rules out the possibility of it being genetic. Stu's nerdy name is the only valid explanation. You did this to him. Your purpley pesticide, Twyclon B.
From Her Royal Highness Salami, RE Letter 86.5.
To my most faithful student, Twilight Sparkle. From a purely pragmatic standpoint, I realize that if a changeling prisoner does not want our help or to coexist peacefully, we're essentially condemning them to death by starvation, barring volunteers. I realize many might consider it a mercy that our operating standard is such that there have been changeling casualties, and I would still greatly prefer if you would not design somehow your tool such as that it is lethal in cases wherein it does not function as an aid, and I will not suspect whether or not it is actually functioning as intended. In any case, I am still proud of you for your accomplishments and the passion with which you tackled the problem. It is a shame that the unnamed changeling was so uncooperative. I suppose my one truly chiding remark is that you should have remembered your promise to Stu. Just because he is not a pony does not mean your promises should have not been made with intent to keep them. Your loving mentor, Princess Celestia. P.S. I'll have you know, Anon, I was the one that suggested the name for Ponyville.
Damn, this was like a bundle and a half. That was great stuff, though. My god, that was... She shot him with a gun. Anyway, I'd like to give a very special thank you to my... donators without guns, or with guns? I don't know. Anyway, Yoshi Super Saiyan 2, Peter Coulthard, Dresdon, dospo, Runescythe 9852, CourierCruz CI, Rainbow Dash 1990, Dwight Cornel, Gagi, Secret Moon, Orient Pax Kaiju, Starlight Glimmer, David D. Sanchez, Trey, Pokekiller Zach, Soul Dragon, Dak Britton, GeoPierce E, and Reno. Thank you all very much for watching this video, and I will see you all in the next one.